Hey everyone, this is John. Just some advance warning. We did not censor this episode with Shirin. If you happen to be in a place where you cannot listen to an uncensored episode, now would be a great time to stop this podcast and listen to something a little more family friendly. But of course, when you get the time to do so, you should definitely listen to this because, again, this is the Shirin podcast. Enjoy! Okay, welcome to part 2 of the Shirin interview. I've decided since we've gone so far, or we're going to go so far off the rails and not talk about Survivor in almost any way, Andy does not deserve to be here. This is strictly me and Shirin. We're going to bro down. So, welcome back, Shirin. Not that you left. And let's get started with our totally unrelated to Survivor questions. First of all, a very astute observer noted that on your LinkedIn profile, and this definitely wasn't me that went and found this while researching for this interview, but you have a stint at a place called TMI Town. I have so many thoughts on what this might be, but I want to hear from you what it is.
Yeah, so TMI Town was a startup that I did in between Google and Yahoo with a very good friend of mine who was a software engineer at Google. Back when we were both at Google together, he was living with his fiance at the time. And, you know, they would go to the bathroom with the door open. And one day he walks by the bathroom, like while she was taking a shit, and he saw her wiping her butt while she was standing up. And so he comes to work the next day and he's like, you will not believe what I saw. And I was horrified. I was like, are you kidding me? How do you even do that? What are the mechanics of wiping your butt while standing up? And through lots of discussion and then through Googling, we found out that there are actually 2 ways to wipe your butt. You can wipe your butt while sitting, as he clearly does and I clearly do, or you can wipe your butt while standing. But moreover, we found out that most people don't know that there are 2 ways to do it. Like you're firmly in one camp or the other for the most part. And we found Reddit threads about it and random internet posts about it, but there was no quantified data. Nobody actually said this percentage of people do it this way, this percentage it the other way. And this is how the idea for TMI Town was born. We thought a place kind of like Reddit where you can, just talk about anything at all, no holds barred, TMI, which for people who don't know, it stands for too much information. But we're going to do it all as polls and it'll be totally anonymous. And if we can start collecting demographic information about people, we know, that you're a woman or a man or how well educated you are, all these different things about you, where in the country you live, then we can start giving you really interesting analysis about
Midwesterners wipe standing up.
Correct. And so actually so we started, years later, I left Google, I traveled the world for a little bit. I went to a couple different startups. I started coding again. Eventually we were like, hey, let's just fucking do it. So we did TMI Town. First question, inaugural question that we posted is, how do you wipe your butt, sitting or standing? And we learned that it's almost 50-50. It's actually 60-40. 60% of people wipe their butt sitting down. 40% of people wipe their butt standing up. Both sides are horrified by the other way of doing it. And what else? Oh yeah, more men stand, more women sit. And we think it's because women are more comfortable, because women wipe when they pee as well. They're more comfortable putting their hand, into the toilet bowl. And you're not touching the water, but we're comfortable knowing that you can put your hand in there without touching the water. And obviously when you sit, you get more spread, so you can be cleaner about wiping your butt. But the other correlation that we found was that actually people who enjoy the bathroom, people who enjoy spending time in there, who read in there, who use their phones in there, those people are sitters. People who just want to be one and done, in and out, those guys are standers. So we started this website. We had all kinds of fascinating information like that. One question that was a huge divide was, when you're in a public bathroom, do you use your hand or your foot to flush the toilet? And men always use their hand.
What?
And women use their foot.
I'm a foot guy. I must be very feminine.
Yeah. Oh, and that one was it was 90-10, 90% of women use their foot, 10% of women use their hand, and vice versa on the men's side. And then the other fascinating thing that I learned from TMI Town. Oh, and the great thing about TMI Town also is that like people ask questions that you wouldn't even know to ask. Like I wouldn't have even known to ask, how do you wipe your butt? Right.
Right.
And so so one of the questions that somebody put out there that I learned people do is like, people masturbate at their bathrooms at work. Well, so it's crazy. So like for that question, we had a bunch of different answer options. So one of the answer options was no, never, that's gross. And one was like, I used to, but not anymore. One was like only one time when I really needed to, or whatever. And then one was like, oh, occasionally. And then one was like, yeah, no big deal, I do it. And I don't remember what the percentage breakdown was, but I think it was something like, it was like close to 20% of people have at least done it once.
See, and then I'd want to delve further then. I'd want to know, okay, when? Like, is it
like what
occurring
time of day?
In the morning? Yeah,
right.
Is it a morning thing? You just had your breakfast, got to rub that thing out before you get back to work, you know?
So most people who do it were in the category of either like used to but don't anymore, or one time kind of thing. But and then the majority of people who've ever done it were men. But there were a few women who had. And granted, the sample set for TMI Town was incredibly small. Like at our peak, I think we had, like we always had under 1,000 people responding to it. The majority of those people were in Silicon Valley, so it was more reflective of like our experience. But this was like, it was just an alpha. It was basically a prototype that we coded up, a working prototype, and then we had like a launch party and everything to see what the reception was. And it was very much like, I don't know if you know the podcast This American Life, but This American Life's like average listenership is like, if you listen to the average listening time for This American Life is 50 minutes, and it's a 60-minute podcast. And that's because if you listen to it, you are in for the whole thing. And so it was similar with TMI Town, where like some people, way too TMI for them, didn't want to have anything to do with it. They were embarrassed to like even be there. Mm-hmm. But for the people who actually like got hooked and started answering questions, they were on there for like an hour per visit. It was like, it was unbelievable. And so it definitely had viral potential, but ultimately we were unfunded and I was kind of running out of money and needed to get funding or get a job. And my partner wanted to continue doing it just as a side project. So we put it on hold. And that's when I went and joined Yahoo. And he ended up actually going and joining a different startup that's doing really well.
Well, see, I'm so glad I asked that for many, many reasons. One, because when I wrote that hype post about you, obviously I did not know these sorts of things. But had I known that, I'd have been like, oh, this is a lock. Like there's no contest. You so clearly deserve my adoration. Two is that I love that the like eureka moment for creating this came while watching someone wipe their ass. Like, Newton had an apple drop from a tree and you and your friend had someone wiping their ass in front of you. Or I guess not in front of you.
And then like we can draw this back into Survivor actually. Like up until that point, even when he told me that he and his fiance went to the bathroom with the door open, like peeing I understand, but pooping I closed the door. And another question that was on TMI Town was, it was around like, do you pee in the shower? Do you pee in the ocean? Like where do you pee? And like peeing in the shower, like a lot of people do, but there are also people who will pee in the shower. A ton of people will pee in the shower even if they're showering with their partner. And like that for me, I hadn't gone quite that far. And it was, I mean, just like think like little nuggets like that aren't, and this is the great thing. Like there's no judgment here. Like I don't care. I'm just fascinated.
It's just fascinating to learn about. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But in terms of pooping with the door open, so like I had never ever done that until Survivor. So it's by the time you get to Ponderosa, all of us who had gone that far together, and so I was never like this with the men really, but like I got to a point where like we were all sharing rooms with each other and stuff. Like I would poop with the door open while somebody else would come in and be doing their makeup, and we'd be chatting like it was no big deal. And then we would swap. Like I'd be in there doing my makeup while somebody else was pooping. Like just all pretenses just out the window. You're like, you know what? We shat in the ocean. We picked our noses together. We fucking like ate food like with sand all over it off the ground. Like just you poop with the door open. I mean, it's bizarre. It still blows my mind.
Well, the other thing that really made me like this line of questioning is that the thing that prompted the starting of TMI Town is actually something that I discussed with my friends in college. So I feel a bond with you now. I actually had some friends of mine in college. Someone said, I think it's something like when you're standing there wiping your ass, and someone was like, wait a minute, standing there? And it just went off on this, like I think 25 of us or so got involved. Like, whoa, we got to take a poll here.
Right.
So, yeah, damn, I could have been in your startup with you. I'm so disappointed. We should have gone to college together, except that I'm not as smart as you.
False.
Don't flatter me. I don't deserve it. So speaking of TMI, I wanted to ask you to give me an embarrassing story, as if you haven't already given me enough. Talking about pooping while people are sitting there doing their makeup next to you.
It's like all gonna be out there. Okay. So the most embarrassing story I can think of. Okay, so when I was in fourth grade, we had also fun fact, I still remember my entire roll call from fourth grade.
Of course you do.
Of course
I
I
bet
do.
you were the valedictorian of fourth grade.
I probably was. But no, so we had like an art project where it was like you would take a wire coat hanger and pull pantyhose over it and then like cut out like paper cutouts of like eyes and a face or whatever and like glue it onto the pantyhose and then you'd have like a wire coat hanger
They
face.
had like a bank robber mask?
Yeah, like it, yeah.
Okay.
Like the pantyhose were like supposed to be skin colored, right? And like whatever.
Sure.
That was the art project. I can't even tell you why that was the art project. It was
Because you had a clearly demented art teacher.
Yeah, so we had to get pantyhose and bring it into class. Everybody had to bring in their own pantyhose or like a whatever, knee-high socks, whatever it was. But so I have immigrant parents for whom English is not their first language. And so I've always been really bad with like expressions and idioms, that kind of thing. And like certain words, like I didn't even know how to say washer and dryer in English. I only knew how to say it in Farsi, which is lebas shui. Mm-hmm. But so with pantyhose, so I went home, got pantyhose, went to school the next day. We all just like went and, threw all of our pantyhose in the basket. And then when it was time for art later in the afternoon, like all the teacher starts like handing out the pantyhose and then she starts laughing. And then in waves, like more and more laughter builds to the point where you then like, I look up in the front of the class and she's holding up a pair of women's panties. And she's like, who brought these? And everybody is laughing hysterically except for me. And so then this is the beginnings of my Survivor career. I was like, oh, fit in, start laughing. And so I like laughed. It was clearly too late though. And so I started laughing with everybody else, having no idea what the joke was. And it's because I thought pantyhose were panties. And I just asked my mom for a pair of panties, like women's panties.
So you made a panty face for your art project.
Well, and then I think, like, I don't even remember what I did in terms of, like, I think there were enough pantyhose to go around anyway, in spite of my blunder. And so I just grabbed somebody else's pantyhose. And then it was like a witch hunt for who brought in the panties, like, who did that? And I was like, not me, clearly. But some of the girls clearly knew it was me because I waited before laughing.
Yeah, because the last person to laugh didn't get the joke.
Yeah.
So speaking of weird or embarrassing experiences, now that you've been on Survivor, I mean, I don't know what it's like where you are, how big of a population watches Survivor, but you have to have had some weird interactions with fans, excluding the fan on this side of the microphone. So give me your weirdest one.
Ooh, what was my weirdest fan interaction? I don't actually think I can't think of anything like super weird. I would say I've had really funny and cute ones. Like one time I was just like on a run in San Francisco and I stepped into the crosswalk. A car was going because it was a 4-way stop intersection and a car was going and I was waiting for him to go, but I was still stepping into the crosswalk like preemptively. Mm-hmm. And like as the car is passing through the crosswalk, he like screeches to a halt. And I thought and then he rolls down his window and I thought he was going to yell at me for stepping in the crosswalk too early. Like he was going to hit me. And then instead, this like adorable gentleman like puts his car in park and like in the middle of an intersection, leans out the window. He's like, oh my God, Shirin from Survivor. I love you from the beginning. I loved you. And fuck Will.
I like how that turns on a dime there.
And he was so cute. He like reached out his hand to grab my hand, and like oh my God, and that reminds me of another one. Like last week, so before I left for Survivor last time, and I'm doing it again this time, like I packed myself a goodie bag because you cannot trust other people to pack your ideal goodie bag for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to my favorite like chocolate shop, and I bought all these amazing different kinds of chocolate, and in the chocolate shop, it was Mother's Day. And this like older woman was with her 2 daughters, and she grabs me and she's like, oh, "You're Shirin from Survivor." And then, went through the whole thing again. But then she's explaining who I am to her daughters. Like, this girl, she's the super fan. She's the super fan from this season of Survivor. Oh my God, now you have to watch it because you're meeting her. And then she actually started to cry while explaining to her daughters like how I also went through a rough patch. And she's like, "I'm sorry, it's Mother's Day and my girl surprised me already, and now seeing you and knowing what you went through, she's like, this is the best day ever and I just want to give you a hug."
And you hugged her.
Absolutely,
I knew
yeah.
you would. Of course. You're good people.
I'm a softie. I am a sympathetic crier also. If I see other people crying, then like I start getting teary-eyed. It's really bad.
Oh, don't ever get around Dawn then.
I know. Dawn and I would be a mess.
It'd be just waterworks.
Even just thinking about Dawn makes me cry because I love her so much. She's the sweetest woman on the planet.
She is. I saw from Twitter that she sent you some bread.
Oh, the best.
Yeah, I like Dawn. So, more interactions. I want to know your best hanging out and or drinking with Survivor stories.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, it's going to involve Jen.
Oh, of course.
Because, hey, girl, hey.
Because A, Survivors, and B, drinking. Yeah. It goes right to Jen.
So our premiere weekend, like almost our entire cast flew out to LA to hang out, and Rodney brought all his boys out with him, and they rented this like mega mansion in the Hollywood Hills. So that became our hangout spot. But so Malcolm was hanging out with us, and at one point people are like walking in from outside, and they're like, "Ugh, Jen and Malcolm just won't shut up about Harry Potter right now," and I immediately perked up and was like, I need to be there right now. So I run outside. I crashed their little Harry Potter party, and it turned into trivia night amongst the 3 of us, like drunkenly just asking the most obscure Harry Potter trivia, like in Professor Trelawney's class when they were reading the tea leaves, what was the like sign of death that Harry got, or something, or maybe even more obscure than that, which obviously the answer was a Grimm.
Obviously.
And and it's funny because like Jen would probably be mortified that I was even telling this story because she puts up such a strong front, but she is a big nerd at heart and loves Harry Potter just like she loves Survivor.
Wow. And I love Jen, so
me too.
Yeah. And Jen can give 0 fucks about the things that deserve 0 fucks. But Harry Potter and Survivor, they're not in that class.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah. I love that, lots of people, if they have their drinking stories, it's crazy, debaucherous. Oh, you'll never believe this shit happened. Yours is, we geeked out about Harry Potter.
Yeah.
No one was wearing a lampshade in yours. No one's, taking their clothes off and diving into a pool. It's talking some really obscure Harry Potter.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, like Rodney was in the kitchen making like mixed drinks with Pedialyte.
Yes, I saw that on your Twitter because I was, of course, doing all my recaps for week by week, and of course, Rodney is the person that has discovered like Pedialyte is good for hangovers. Did he ever tell you how he came to that conclusion? Like, was it a test? He tested different things, and this is what he came up with.
No, I think he just thought that it's like, like people usually go for Gatorade or whatever, but he's like, nah, you got to go to the source. You got to go for like the kid shit without all the extra chemicals and shit in it. Like, you just want pure electrolytes.
Yeah. Most of the time, by the way, that stuff's sold in like the baby aisle. So Rodney's going to the baby aisle for some Pedialyte to get hammered.
Well, and then Corinne was there too. And Corinne said that there are Pedialyte popsicles.
Oh, yes, there are.
Which I had no idea, but now I know. And I do have Pedialyte popsicles in my freezer for the purpose of taking to Burning Man.
So you're a Burning Man type? Come on, you don't have a crazy Burning Man story? I can't believe that didn't enter into the embarrassing story question. Oh,
yeah, no, I've been to Burning Man 3 times. No.
Okay, well, not embarrassing then. Tell me the craziest thing you've seen at Burning Man. I mean, besides everything. Have you seen Vince before? I feel like you should have.
I've
Did he
never
try to
seen
sell you a
Vince at
coconut?
Burning Man, but everybody at Burning Man looks like
I
Vince. So
know. He probably blended in. He's like,
yeah.
where's Waldo? You would never be able to spot him there.
Yeah, well, the Mad Max movie is coming out, and it's interesting because at Burning Man every year there's like a staple camp that has a whole Mad Max dome where like they have like the crazy music and then people fighting and they like attach you to a harness and they give you these like duct taped cardboard weapons and you like or I don't know whatever kind of like fake weapons and like you beat the shit out of each other while bungee leaping at each other.
It
That's
actually
fun.
sounds like fun, even if you're
Yeah.
not on all sorts of drugs that I assume everybody at Burning Man is.
Burning Man is exactly like Survivor, except with all the love and kindness that Survivor lacks.
And also with Vince.
And with Vince.
That is the overlap. And you, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
You and Vince are the overlap.
Yeah. I love Burning Man. Everybody's so kind.
So let's talk more parties. Somehow, all of my questions ended up being about partying. You just must give off a party girl vibe to me. The party girl who goes and talks Harry Potter trivia.
Right.
Actually, my question sort of fits into this. So, well, it's not really you, but I saw that your cousin was at the live Rob Has a Podcast Know-It-Alls in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Your cousin, who looks a whole lot like you. I mean, the genes in your family pretty strong.
But she wears glasses and has straight hair.
Yeah, so obviously that's not you because that's not the sort of thing that you could do.
Right.
But I'm sure you and your cousin are very close and you probably share the details of your life constantly. So I'm sure, she gave you the full rundown and you can answer my question then. So
we can hope.
What was that like for your cousin? And if it's gotten so close between you two that you can just refer to it as you because you feel like you were there, that's fine.
So it's pretty incredible because obviously I didn't want to be recognized. So I went incognito on purpose. I didn't want Rob and Steven to censor themselves at all because I was there or feel uncomfortable talking about me because I was there. And I also didn't want it to become about me just because I'm on the current season. I didn't want everyone to kind of pay more attention to me or anything. So I wanted to sit through the entire show and through the Know-It-Alls segment without people recognizing me. So I went with a friend of mine. We sat like way off to the side, out of view with our having to look at TVs in such a way that our backs were faced towards most of the audience. And plus my hair was straight and I had the glasses on. So nobody recognized me. Oh, and then it was funny because like it wasn't the best episode in the world, but it was the monkey sex episode.
Mm-hmm.
And that episode, it was like, for me, that was the perfect episode to be with the rap community because like they all loved everything about the monkey sex.
Of course. Because they're people that have a sense of humor.
Because they are my people. They're
That's
my
right.
peeps. And so like it was really lovely to be able to sit in like a giant room of people who were all like cheering for me and laughing at like my joy, right? Or like with me during my joyous moments.
And it reaffirms to you that not everyone is a total wet blanket.
Completely. And then towards the end of the Know-It-Alls portion, I went up and asked a question. And it was funny because at that point they were no longer taking any questions and Rob was trying to like shoo me away. And I was like, no. And I was like, no, excuse me, I have a question. And then like, and at that point, because he had to look at my face, and I get this a lot too, like when I do straighten my hair, people don't completely recognize me right away. And so with Rob, it took him a second and then he like did a double take and he's like, oh. Yeah. And then from that point onward, like, and then it slowly spread around that I was there and then like everybody kind of erupted and everybody was so lovely to me and I took photos with a bunch of people. But for the most part, I just got to know a bunch of former survivors who were there. Like I met Eliza and Sophie and Andrea, Steven and Rob, and everyone knows I'm obsessed with Rob. So that was huge for me.
Yeah.
It was just so much fun. I loved it.
I can't imagine what it would be like talking to one of your favorite survivors. It must be magical. Did you get in just like any normal, mortal human being would and just buy a ticket?
Yeah, I bought a ticket as soon as they went on sale. My biggest worry in life right now, is that I make it onto Survivor Second Chance.
Mm-hmm.
Know-It-Alls tickets go on sale while I'm away
Oh, no.
and sell out.
Oh my God.
And I will not have had the opportunity to buy myself a ticket.
I got your back. If only I had some sort of web-based calendar that could remind me to purchase things.
Yeah, 2 tickets, please. I need 2 tickets.
2 tickets. Got it.
And at this point, I'm sure Rob would just hook me up anyway. But the other thing is, like, I was so worried that, like, if CBS found out that they wouldn't let me go, or if Rob found out that he'd ask me not to go, or that, like, if I don't know, it was one of those things where, like, even if, like, my cast found out, either, like, they'd all want to buy tickets, even though they're not, like, rap fans the way that I was. Like, I really wanted to, like, keep it close so that, like, nobody would blow up my game. And I could just, like, do it really stealthily, really chill.
And it's always better to beg forgiveness than ask permission.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So
I imagine, again, it was probably a very exciting time for you.
Yeah.
There had to be some good stories. I may or may not have seen a video that someone posted of someone that looked a lot like you. I'm sure it wasn't you.
It was my cousin.
Right, your cousin, obviously.
Yeah.
Who looked extremely intoxicated.
Yeah.
And was dispensing some sage advice to young women everywhere.
Yeah.
Were there a lot of moments like that?
No, she specifically recorded. I had forgotten about it entirely until she actually asked my permission before she posted it.
I can't imagine why you might have forgotten it. You seemed so sober.
Well, the other thing is that, like, a lot of people were trying to buy me drinks. And then I did 2 rounds of shots with, like, a guy bought, like, a huge round of shots for me, Spencer, Andrea, and a couple other people. And then, like, it was just one of those things where, when in Rome. And so, like, I was pounding shots are not good for Shirin's cousin.
No.
So Shirin's cousin got pulled away, and the woman asked her to give advice to her young niece or something like that. And because it was like a woman asking a woman to give advice to a woman,
Girl power came out.
Girl power came out.
It was a good video. That the 40 or 50 times I watched it, I was very entertained.
Yeah.
Girl power indeed. Thank you, woman who tops my list of favorite female survivors, for taking the time to discuss these ridiculous things with me. And also with Andy, but more importantly with me, because screw Andy.
Believe me, the pleasure was all mine.
No, I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But thank you. And again, everybody, if you are listening to this, I hope you enjoyed it. I demand, as payment for enjoying it so much, you should be on CBS's website right now, voting for Shirin for Survivor Second Chance. Get this woman back on Survivor, and I will use that to cajole her into coming back on our podcast.
Woo!
Hit the theme music.
That's what it's like when a woman wants a baby. That's what it's like when a woman wants a baby.